this is me at all. There's stuff I was rereading it this morning, and I was like, I wrote that. That's pretty good. I didn't write that. So, here goes. I want to talk about, in 1 Samuel, I read about Hannah. And she was married to Elkanah. And I didn't know about her. And it was really interesting to me about her. She was married, and she didn't have any kids, and she never really complained, but one day she was, crying out to God, and it said, crushed in soul, Hannah prayed to God, and she cried infallibly. And I was like, well, listen, I'm not the only person who cries and cries, And she prayed, and one day she was down, and she was praying, and Eli was so confused at the way she was praying so passionately to God that he thought she was drunk. And he was like, are you drunk? And she said, the only thing I've been pouring out is my heart, pouring it out to God. And she was so passionate when she prayed to God that it was mistaken for being intoxicated. And to me, that spoke a lot, because how many people pray that passionately? How many people have so much faith in their prayers that they get that excited or that enthusiastic about it? I don't. Not very often. And she prayed, and it said, Hannah prayed, I'm bursting with good news. That's the prayer to be praying about, because I love some good news. I don't like the bad stuff. And it said, I'm walking on air, I'm laughing at my rivals. I'm dancing my salvation. Nothing and no one is holy like God. No rock mountain like our God. Don't dare talk pretentiously. Not a word of boasting ever. For God knows what's going on. He takes the measure of everything that happens. The weapons of the strong are smashed to pieces, while the weak are infused with fresh strength. Yeah. That's some good stuff. Yeah. I know I need some strength a lot of times. The well-fed are begging on the streets for crust, while the hungry are getting their second helpings. The barren woman have a house full of children, while the mother of many is bare. God brings death, and God brings life. Brings down to grave, and raises up. God brings poverty, and God brings wealth. He lowers, He also lifts up. He puts poor people on their feet again. He rekindles burned out lives with fresh hope, restoring dignity and respect to their lives, a place in the sun. God of all things. It's not just some things. It's not just the good. It's the bad. It's when you're at your lowest point, when you're at that bottom of that big old ditch, think that no one can see you. God's there. He's there. He's about to pull you out. You may be there for a while, but that's because it's your season, and God is definitely going to restore that and bring you to a fresh season, or a pretty season. For the very structures of earth are God's. He has laid out His operations on a firm foundation. He protectively cares for His faithful friends step by step. No one makes it in this life by sheer muscle, obviously by God's strength. God's enemies will be blasted out of the sky. They'll be crushed in a heap and burned. He'll set His anointed on top of the world. That spoke to me because you don't really hear a lot about that, about God taking care of that and bringing His people out on top. But it says right here, 1 Samuel 2:10, the anointed will be placed on top of the world. And that's going to be good. That's going to be good. Further on, as Hannah prayed, her prayers were answered. She was blessed with the son. And she promised God that if He blessed her with the son, she would dedicate him to, to live for Him for the rest of his life. And so, when God answered her prayer and gave her a son, he went to live with Eli. And then Eli had to work for her one day, which was neat because, you think you do stuff for God and then there's no result or response. Well, He gave her one. He said, God gave you children to replace this child. And He gave her 3 more sons and 2 daughters. So when you're willing to sacrifice, he gives you back a blessing that's more than what your sacrifice was. And I wrote next to it, obedience brings blessings. And that's something that got me to get up here, because I was like, well, if I'm disobedient, whose blessing am I going to be taking away from them? And I don't want to be in that place before God. So I'm up here. someone out there will get it. You'll see good things that I'm doing in Israel, but you'll see it and weep, for no one in your family will live to enjoy it. I will leave one person to serve at my altar, but it will be hard life with many tears. This is real. In this